now on the 6th, smoky skies prompting air quality concerns across the DMV. This live picture behind us from right outside our station in Bethesda, and it does not look good.
Yeah, you can barely see through it. People forced to stay indoors because of the hazardous conditions. All this being caused by Canadian wildfires. It's gotten so bad, even President Trump is weighing in. The president threatening to impose new tariffs on Canada, accusing the country's government of, quote, willful negligence for its handling of the fires. We have team coverage for you tonight. Josh Rosenthal and Bob Barnard are out in the smoke talking to the impacts of the poor air quality and what you can do to keep yourself safe.
But we're going to start with Caitlin Roth live in the Weather Center with a first check on your forecast. So, Caitlin, how long is this smoke sticking around?
Well, the smoke's still with us through the rest of tonight, even into early tomorrow morning. So Bob and Josh really have the difficult jobs. They're out in the smoke, in this terrible air quality, which is what we're telling you all not to be in because it can be detrimental to anybody's health. It's not just sensitive groups. When you are in a code purple, as you can see by these purple dots lining 95 in the Capitol Beltway and much of our area, you just do not want to be outside in this sort of smoke particulates. It can easily make you start coughing or lose your breath. You can see the smoke, you can smell the smoke, you can taste the smoke. It's pretty awful. So if not a code purple, you're in a code red across much of the mid-Atlantic, Delaware, New Jersey. Our beaches are included in this. Upstate Pennsylvania, all code purple. That extends back towards Michigan. It did get better up in New York City and New England today. They had it worse yesterday, but it all shifted south right over us. So we are under the worst of this plume, and you can certainly tell, taking a live look at Reagan National, how thick it is. Good news is, as we just saw, planes are still taking off and landing. This has really not impacted aviation, which goes to show you how great those instruments are as they can get through this haze just like they can when we have fog around here on many mornings. Temperatures in the 80s right now. We weren't as hot today as the past few days thanks to that thick layer of smoke. And there's actually a few storms out across central Virginia, but they are moving more south versus east. We should stay quiet tonight. Here's that plume. So the surface smoke forecast shows while the worst of us sits over us now, that will recede beginning tomorrow morning, and by tomorrow afternoon it's virtually gone. Into Sunday we go, and it looks much, much better. Now, it comes at the expense of some showers and storms on Saturday. We're going to talk about that. You got to get the rain through to clear out the smoke, but it does bring a severe threat. I'll have more coming up in my full 7-day. Back to you.
All right, Caitlin, thank you. Several cities we know in the region have been forced to cancel outdoor events because of this smoke.
Our Bob Barnard continues our team coverage tonight from Sterling, which has seen some of today's worst conditions.
At one point today, there were pockets here in Loudoun and in Fairfax County that were code maroon, which is worse than code purple, which of course is worse than code red, which is the worst it normally gets around here. I want to have you take a look. This is Route 7 here in Sterling. As you look down the roadway here, you can see the smoky haze there up in the tree line. And now I want you to take a look at our Reston weather cam. It's a murky-looking orangey gray soup. This is what people outside are breathing in today. Not good for sure.
It's crazy. I have a friend who lives in PA and it's worse there, but I feel bad because he has asthma, so we're trying to be in and out.
I didn't know it was going to hit Virginia. I have family in New York that told me about it a couple days ago, and I was like, oh, it's not going to reach us, and here it is. So we was enjoying some nice hot weather, and now it's hitting us. So how I feel about it, I mean, just keep the kids inside, honestly.
When they say poor air quality, they mean it. Take a look at the skies over northern Virginia today. Smoke from the Canadian wildfires engulfing our region. We sent our Skyfox drone over Lake Fairfax Park and water mine this afternoon. It's closed. The pool's deserted. Normally on a Friday afternoon in summertime, this place would be packed. All pools, water parks, and splash pads, athletic fields, outdoor camps, and concerts canceled today. At Nova Wild, the Reston Zoo, they were contemplating closing early. All of their at-risk animals brought inside air-conditioned buildings. At ground level, you can see and smell the smoky air. Most people heeding the warnings to stay indoors or at the very least limit their outdoor exposure to the smoky air. Some people opting to take us back to the pandemic wearing masks. Others are not. James Matthews and his wife not taking any chances.
Yeah, highly recommend it. I mean, just throwing it on like outside. As soon as I bought it, got into the truck, threw it on. I feel much better. Yeah, it's quite brutal.
Figured I was going to be in and out for a little bit, so I didn't really think to grab a mask. As soon as I came outside, I smelled the smoke and saw the haze. I was like, I'm not going to bring my kids out.
We stopped by a Home Depot today. They're selling lots of air filters and purifiers. And we can show you images from airnow.gov that tell you the air quality where you live. You see, it's mostly purple around the D.C. region, some red to the south and east of D.C.
We're not sure what exactly the conditions will be like going through the day Saturday and into Sunday. So if you were involved in something that got canceled or postponed today, check with the local entity or organization to see if it's on for tomorrow. Guys?
Bob, thank you. And tonight, warning after warning about what today's air quality can mean for our health. Josh Rosenthal continues our team coverage tonight live in Northwest. Josh, both of us have kids. I worry about them, especially now when they want to be outdoors.
Yeah, you and me both, Sharon. One of our summer camps was canceled this morning. Take a look here down Connecticut Avenue. You can see things appear to be okay right now, but according to a ton of medical experts, looks can be deceiving. Here's the deal. We often hear about poor air quality being especially concerning for children, older adults, people who are pregnant, and people with respiratory conditions like asthma. That's true. But when you hit, say, code purple, like much of our area has today, that means the air is unhealthy for everyone. Among the tips circulated by the American Lung Association, they say people should not exercise outside. They recommend people put their car air conditioners on the recirculate setting. And if you're part of one of those sensitive groups, they say to take extra precautions. Today, we also spoke with DC's health director, Dr. Ayanna Bennett. Here's more from her.
No one should be exercising outside or doing a lot of exertion, even work today if they can avoid it. If you have to be outside, you should be wearing a mask. The particles are very small. They go through the lungs, into the blood vessels, into the heart and the rest of the body. So you can get an inflammatory reaction that causes heart problems, heart attacks, strokes.
Given the advice that you just heard from Dr. Bennett, I will tell you we are getting inside as much as possible as well. And when we're not on live television, we're wearing masks. Guys.
That's a good idea, Josh. Thank you so much. Please be careful out there. And don't forget, you can track summer weather and the latest impacts on all of our platforms. Fox Local Washington, D.C. app. You can download it now, both on your phone and smart TV.
A driver is battling life-threatening injuries following a crash on I-495. This is video from the scene this afternoon. It happened on the outer loop just past I-66 in Fairfax County. Virginia State Police say a big rig did not slow down for traffic, hit a Nissan, which was then pushed into a car hauler. The driver of the Nissan was taken to the hospital and lanes are now back open. And new this hour, a man has been indicted for a deadly crash in Alexandria. Techaline Shirko is facing multiple charges now, including involuntary manslaughter. Police say he hit and killed Norma Floyd Sales at the intersection of North St. Asaph and Montgomery Streets back in April. He stayed at that scene, according to authorities. A court date has not yet been set.
The man found guilty of killing his wife and another man is now filing an appeal. It comes just weeks after Brennan Banfield was sentenced to life in prison without parole in the killings of his wife, Christine, and Joseph Ryan, a man he lured to his Fairfax County home back in 2023. No other details about the appeal filed in Fairfax County Court today have been made public. Banfield's sentence remains in place amid the appeals process.
Democratic lawmakers are pushing for answers now on DHS's vetting and training process for ICE agents. The Associated Press is reporting that close relatives of Agent David Brulette, the officer involved in the deadly shooting in Maine, said that he had struggled with mental health since early childhood. Democrats now want an investigation into DHS, adding that the officer must be held accountable. And the Department of Homeland Security is threatening states tonight with new so-called election integrity measures. Secretary Markwayne Mullin is ordering governors to sign on to a new election monitoring program or risk losing federal funding. This follows President Trump's address to the nation last night, where he claimed, without evidence, that he has evidence that countries like China attempted to rig the 2020 election.
We're saying that the machines had to be secured and that your voter registration list needs to be scrubbed. We need to make sure that individuals that are legally able to vote are voting.
When he loses, as he's going to do in November, he can say, well, we've got new evidence of what I told you about in July.
The president claims China hacked voter data. Beijing calls those allegations baseless. Democrats are also pushing back, saying this is another early effort to undermine election results in the November midterms.
The U.S. military is now striking Iran's bridges, surveillance, and port infrastructure near the Strait of Hormuz. The hope is to cut off resupply routes for Iran's military and pressure Tehran into loosening its grip of the vital waterway. These stepped-up attacks are also intended to get Iran back to the negotiating table, but Tehran maintains that it will not participate while being bombed. Iran says countries with U.S. military bases are fair targets until American strikes stop.